What is going on, everybody? It's KB. Before the episode starts, make sure you go check out StreamerSZN's brand new theme music. That's right. We have full-time, brand new theme music thanks to the newest homie and newest member of the music side of Underground Sports Philadelphia homies. That is Mobley. Stay Volk. His new single is out now. It is linked in the description on YouTube, and you'll be hearing it on audio until we can figure out if we can play it on video on StreamerSZN episodes from here on out. That's our new theme music. Stay Volk. Go download it now wherever you get your music, and go check out the music video on YouTube. But now, let's get into the episode of StreamerSZN.
Philadelphia, baby, you're gonna love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
It is really fun to be able to just laugh at the New York Giants on this show. It's a sweet treat, as all the TikTok girlies say. It's a sweet treat. What is going on, fellow streamers? Welcome into another episode of StreamerSZN, the exclusive streaming platform TV and movie podcast on the Underground Sports Philadelphia Podcast Network. It's KB and Christian coming at you with another loaded slate here for your summertime fineness in the month of July. We've got the Acolyte penultimate episode that feels like it was really out of place in the episode ordering. We'll get into that. I'll be breaking down House of the Dragon Season 2, Episode 4, which was just Chef's Kiss GIF immaculate television. We'll get into laughing at the New York Giants as Hard Knocks Offseason with the New York Giants. Episode 2 is out, and then we'll get into all the news and notes from around the streaming platform Multiverse. But before we get into all that, make sure you guys are following us on the socials at StreamerSZN on Twitter, Instagram, Threads, and TikTok is StreamerSZN Pod. You can follow Christian on Twitter at the Wiz_PHI. And you can follow me at KBIZZL311. Subscribe to the podcast feed on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts in audio form. Leave a 5-star rating and review. It goes a long way for helping more people find the show. Helps more people, get in tune with the entertainment side of Underground Sports Philadelphia, and allows us to just continue building this awesome fan base. So keep subscribing on Apple and Spotify. And Christian, I do have some funny news. We're still hanging around on those old Apple podcast charts. The old StreamerSZN, we're still number 18 in Peru, baby. We love to see it. So keep on subscribing, Apple and Spotify, and subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, youtube.com/@Underground Sports Philadelphia. Let's get to 900 subscribers before the end of the month. We're at 816 as of this recording. Smash that like button, ring the bell icon, leave a comment down below if you're watching The Acolyte, House of the Dragon, Hard Knocks, or whatever you're watching. Leave it down in the YouTube comment section, and we will be adding it to our list for sure to keep for future reference. And also follow us on Letterboxd StreamerSZN there as well. Christian, the Acolyte penultimate episode is here, and boy, was it something. It was something, and it is brought to you by our awesome merch partners at PHI Apparel Company. If you want to stand out in the crowd, whether you're going to the movie theater, Netflix and chilling, just hanging around the house and want to feel comfortable, PHI Apparel Company has you covered with their exclusive designs for all. You're going to stand out wherever you're going, rocking your StreamerSZN merch. That's right. The exclusive home for StreamerSZN merch is PHI Apparel Company. Go to phiapparel.co and use code Underground. You'll get 10% off your next merch order from our awesome merch partners at PHI Apparel Company. That's phiapparel.co and get 10% off with code Underground when you place your next merch order at phiapparel.co. Well, Christian, the penultimate episode is here, and you texted me while you were watching and said free Kogonada from his flashback hell that he's in. And I gotta say off rip, this episode could have been merged in with episode 3. It could have occurred at the same damn time. We watched episode 3 just from a different vantage point.
Something, something, something. I'll wait till we get later in this discussion.
Like, that was my initial take as I'm watching. I was like, I've watched all of this already. And I'd say what, maybe 20% of the episode was new footage, if that.
Yeah.
Like, we waited 4 episodes to get the same episode again.
For anyone on audio who can't see my face right now, I'm just grimacing in pain.
Like, I will say, one of the things that stood out in the new footage was we got phenomenal like lightsaber and whatever you want to call it, witch staff choreography. That was great. But we literally just said, okay, we're going to put on VR goggles and watch episode 3. That's what this episode was.
Which Coconut also directed, right?
Yes. Like, why did we? Why? This was just a waste of an episode. And I tweeted this because if you're not following and subscribed to their podcast as well, Children of the Watch, they do a phenomenal job of doing like the in-depths and breaking down like every minor detail when it comes to anything Star Wars. Highly recommend listening to their show as well. They're the best. They tweeted from their account, Alex, one of their co-hosts, and said that this was their favorite episode or the best episode of the season, which some parts were very good, but my takeaway, and I quote tweeted their tweet saying this, I said, my biggest takeaway from this episode is if there's not a season 2, it's a disaster. Because you have your finale next week, and we still have no idea what the overall payoff is going to be. If there's not a season 2 of this show, which we all know, Disney has not been privy to giving any of their streaming shows a season 2 outside of what? The Mandalorian, Loki. That's it. That I can think of off the top of my head. And Andor. Those are your 3 that have gotten season 2s. Outside of that, no director, writer, or anything has been guaranteed that you get a season 2 for your show if it's on Disney Plus. If this show doesn't get it, that is an unmitigated disaster. Will it get it? Who knows? But for its sake and its sake in just the overall well-being of what this project is, I sure fucking hope so. Because if it doesn't, it's rough. That's my initial takeaway from watching this episode.
Yeah, I'm not gonna unload until we actually get into the broader discussion after we discuss the plot, which shouldn't be too long, right, Kyle?
Should not be too long. This was another singular titled episode. No slashed title, just called Choice. I think this was the first episode too that had 3 writers credited. Yeah. And it was a Kogonada directorial episode. So here we go. If you haven't watched this episode, guess what? You watched it a couple weeks ago. So your spoiler warning came about 3 weeks ago for this one. 16 years earlier, on Brendok, the assigned Jedi searched for a virgins on the planet. Sol discovers Osha, May, and a group of Force-sensitive witches returning to camp. Sol convinces his group to go save the girls. May speaks to Indara and Sol about the Ascension during the tests, and Indara is reluctant to accept the sisters to the Jedi Order, although Sol and Osha pass it. After midichlorian test is conducted, the Jedi realize that the girls are not only the virgins, but also not twins. They are the exact same person, artificially created, with their shared consciousness split between 2 bodies. Torben, eager to return to Coruscant, goes to collect the girls without the approval of his companions. May and Mother Coral team up to prevent Osha from leaving. At the fortress, Sol murders Mother Anastasia, beginning a conflict between the Jedi and witches. The witches possess Kelnaka. Sol and Torben fight him. Indara frees Kelnaka and knocks the witches unconscious. Yo, witches be crazy. Sol goes after the girls and, forced to choose who to save, rescues Osha. On the ship, Indara makes up a false story blaming May for what happened in order to save Sol so that he can train Osha. I had deja vu reading the first part of that breakdown.
Man, y'all couldn't give Kogonada better scripts.
Like, this was bad.
Okay, I'm glad you've kind of slowly come to my side on as because the season started so high and it's gone so horrifically downhill. Like I know we both liked last week's episode,
Mm-hmm.
but so much of this show is void of the Sith.
Yes.
And this is supposed to be the show where it's like Jedi bad, Jedi not as bad as we think. Look at Sith. And like what we have one episode left this season.
Mm-hmm.
They wasted 2 flashback episodes.
That could have been one. No pun intended there.
It took them till the 5th episode to get to the thesis of the show.
Uh-huh.
And now we're headed into a season's or series finale where we've had one episode of the Jedi Parent Trap. What the fuck are we doing?
Jedi Parent Trap is incredible.
All we literally did in the 5th episode was, let's swap, let's just swap the sisters, and then immediately go into a fucking flashback, and then it's the series finale. How are we gonna resolve this? Who knows? Will anything matter after the finale? We are renewed for a new season. Who knows? Maybe because this got review bombs, we will never know. Oh.
The Jedi Parent Trap is some of your best work. Well done.
I can't lie. I'm kind of stealing that from a post I saw on Twitter where someone redesigned the original Parent Trap poster. It was great. It was great. I think I took a screenshot of it. I'll see if I can find it and I'll send it over to you.
That's incredible. But like the way that we have come as TV viewers and TV creators in the year of our Lord 2024, there's a way to do episode 3 and episode 7 all encapsulated in one episode. And you failed
You
to do
would think that, wouldn't you? You would think that, wouldn't you?
Like, it was so simple. You can give people different vantage points in one episode. It's not a hard or foreign concept whatsoever. I'm stunned that 85% of this episode that we watched tonight was the same exact thing, just in a different point of view for episode 3.
Hold on, Kyle. I'm sending you the photo, and you can edit this onto the screen, but I can't wait to hear you laugh so hilariously loud. So this was done by Nerdrotics on Twitter.
It's the house phone in the hand for me. Oh, that's incredible. That's amazing.
I would just like to say this this poster says "The Jedi Trap!" exclamation point with that guy from Squid Game, X-23, Leslie Headland's wife, and Kyle. Didn't I say this last one on the last episode?
God damn it!
Asian Ezra Miller.
Yeah, like speaking of that whole episode last week, we end it with the fucking helmet on Homegirl's head. Beautiful ending sequence. And then that's nowhere in sight this week.
Kyle, you are literally parroting what I was saying about episode 2 going into episode 3. We get Wookiee Jedi, then we get flashback. Why? And then and then episode 4, we find Wookiee Jedi dead.
And
What
then
the
episode
fuck?
7, we get Wookiee Jedi possessed.
Well, what the fuck? like this show is so horrifically mismanaged that we didn't even need a flashback episode.
No.
Like, this is my big gripe where so many of these Marvel shows, so many of these Disney shows.
No, you
they
said
do,
it right. They're Disney shows.
Yeah. But yeah, bruv, come on now. They have these flashback episodes, and they just kill all the momentum that these shows have. And I know I brought this up in the past weeks. Just look at that second or third episode of The Last of Us, where that was 95% a flashback episode, and it was arguably the best episode of the show. Like this, they don't know how to properly use flashbacks, and I feel like they became so obsessed with the idea of showing it from both points of view that they didn't think about, is this good for the story? Is this good for momentum? Because I would argue that quite literally you maybe should have just done episode 3 as episode 1,
Yes.
and then you end on and then you move this past week's episode to the end of the season. So that basically what you have happen is you open on you open on the origin of things, and you close on, oh, well, this is kind of what actually happened. Dum dum dum. And then but that also operates under the premise that you're actually getting a second season.
Right. Because I was
Oh.
even watching this episode, like, they could have done, like I said, like, combine episode 3 and 7 into one. That be your episode 1. And then it almost, like, ends on the way that the actual episode 1 started, where we see Homegirl just get destroyed by the knives from May, and then you go into what is about to happen. Like, it feels like you're watching the show out of order the way that it's been done.
Like, quite literally just like 13 years later. Like that's
You know how your whole franchise started in a galaxy far, far away a long time ago. That's kind of how things start on just a rolling screen. It's disappointing. It's just like it's
like the worst part is I can't even blame Koganada.
Yeah.
Cuz he's trying,
Right.
but they basically had him direct the same episode twice, and they didn't give him the best script.
They said, "Here, copy your own homework, but change it just a little bit." Wasn't even copy someone else's homework.
Should we get to our grades on this?
Yeah, like I said, if there's not a season 2, this is an unmitigated disaster for Star Wars and for Disney. Your to put in comparison for the same episode, your episode 3 score was a 7 on the Star Wars scale and a 6.4 on the regular TV scale, Christian.
How do I want to do this? How insanely harsh do I want to be?
Well, your least favorite episode of the season was episode 4, which you gave a 6.8 on the Star Wars scale and a 5 flat on the regular TV scale.
How do I want to do this? A 1.5 on the regular TV scale.
That's a new record, I think.
And a 4 on the Star. No, that's too generous. That 4 is way too generous given the discussion we just had.
Let's see.
Do
I need to put it in perspective of your lowest rated show from last year?
Sure.
Being the unmitigated disaster that was Secret Invasion, which you gave a 5.5 out of 10 for the overall series.
I enjoyed Secret Invasion more than this shit.
To put it in perspective as well, on a movie scale, the last movie we watched in 2022 was Spirited, the Christmas movie with Ryan Reynolds that you gave a 4.5 out of 10.
And yet somehow I like Spirited more. Like, this was such a bad TV episode, man. This was so bad.
I think that might be your lowest.
It's
4.5.
Fuck it, 2.5. 2.5 on the Star Wars scale. This was a fucking disaster.
You said 1.5 on the regular.
Yeah, like
it got a bump for being a galaxy far, far away.
like this, in the grand scale of the series, this episode is a fucking disaster.
It's literally like 15% new stuff. And the best part about it was just the whole Jedi fight scene where the Wookiee gets possessed and you get that great choreography. That was the one redeeming quality of this entire episode. Like, you're telling me you couldn't have had Mother Anastasia doing the whole like possessing what's his name thing? The hell's his name? The Padawan. I'm blanking. But you're telling me
that really tells us all we need to know. We don't care about the Padawan's name.
Torben. You couldn't have done the whole possessing thing where they're in the room by themselves in episode 3 when you fucking did that. Like, come on. Like, that's just like, that's production malpractice to the umpteenth degree. I'm gonna give it like a 4.5. And I was simply for like the new aspects of things and the choreography of that fight scene. That was really it that did it for me. Which puts it at a 6.5 combined score divided by 2 is a new low, a 3.25 out of 10 for this episode of The Acolyte.
Who would have seen this coming?
I wish I could have, because goddamn, that was a disappointing to say the least episode, and I'm very intrigued to watch some of the breakdowns I watch and see how they approach this, because this in and of itself could have been episode 3. You know, this is supposed to be about questioning all of the tactics and legitimacy of the Jedi. That's what this episode did. But the fact that it falls as your penultimate episode is such a disaster. And we literally watched this episode 3 weeks ago.
It's not great.
I genuinely would have removed episode 3 and just made this the episode. If that was the case, this would have gotten way higher. But the fact of the episode placement and that you just redid the episode, you remixed it. This is the remix of episode 3. That's what this. That's what it should have been titled. The title should be Remix, not Choice. Yeah, it's a choice. You either watch episode 3 or this. Make that choice.
Pretty much.
But I'm going to fly over to Westeros, break down a fantastic episode of television with House of the Dragon Season 2, Episode 4, and then Christian and I will be back to laugh hysterically at the New York Football Giants once again. So stick around for some Hot D. Hey everyone, it's KB, and I am beyond excited to bring you this breaking news about a new project here at Underground Sports Philadelphia. Introducing Light the Flame, an Olympics podcast where all of your favorite Underground Sports Philadelphia personalities will come together to discuss, banter, and break down the Olympic Games. Coming soon wherever you get your podcasts and on our YouTube channel throughout the 2024 Olympics and beyond. What is going on, my fellow Dragon Riders? It's KB coming at you with another breakdown of House of the Dragon Season 2. This time it's Episode 4, ready to fly off to Westeros and break down a fantastic episode of television. This episode delivered on so many different levels for me, and if you are new here, welcome. I just want to give you the preemptive knowledge that I have never watched Game of Thrones. I have only watched House of the Dragon Season 1 and every episode so far of House of the Dragon Season 2. So that is where my knowledge is coming from. It may be a little crazy, but that's what happens here at StreamerSZN. So I'm going to break down this episode, give you my thoughts, give you my overall score on the episode, because all the people are talking. This is up there with Game of Thrones territory television. So we're going to break it all down. We're going to discuss everything that happened in this episode because last week I loved it so much. I gave it a 9.7. This week was unbelievable and it blew me away, and I'm excited to let you know that it's going to be higher than a 9.7. We'll see where it ranks in terms of our show grades. The highest we've ever done in an overall show grade is a 9.6 out of 10, I believe, which was The Last of Us Season 1. Peacemaker Season 1 came extremely close back in 2022 at a 9.5. Moon Knight got a 9.4. Daredevil as a series from me personally got a 9.5. It has a 9.3 overall score in our system, as does Stranger Things Season 4. And House of Dragon Season 1 got a 9.1 out of 10 from myself, and in the overall scoring record, the only thing that's ever secured a perfect 10 was Everything Everywhere All at Once, and that is a movie. So a little bit of a different scale there, but X-Men 97 is our highest rated show so far this year, and it's at a 9.5 out of 10 from both Christian and myself. Granted, it's animated, but House of the Dragon Season 2 is off to a phenomenal start. So let's get into it. The original title, I think, for this episode was The Dance of Dragons. It has since been officially titled The Red Dragon and the Gold, which is the 4th episode of the 2nd season of House of the Dragon. In this episode, Sir Criston Cole continues to rally rally the Green's allies and executes Black's supporters. He rides to Rook's Rest to attack the last Black stronghold on the Blackwater Bay. Meanwhile, Rhaenyra returns to Dragonstone and learns about Kristen's plans. She agrees to send Rhaenys with her dragon Meleys to confront Kristen and his troops, feeling his council disrespects him, especially after discovering Aemon's secret communications with Sir Criston Cole. Aegon decides to fly to Rook's Rest with his dragon Sunfire. Unbeknownst to each other, Rhaenys, Aegon, and Aemond with Vhagar converge on Rook's Rest, leading to a climactic battle involving 3 dragons. In the United States, the Red Dragon and the Gold gained a viewership of 8.1 million during its premiere night, surpassing the season premiere with 1.2 million viewers on linear television alone. The episode received widespread acclaim from critics, with many dubbing it one of the series' best outputs. They complimented the direction and visual effects, but particularly the episode's writing for Daemon's scenes in Harrenhal, the increasing friction between Aemond and Aegon, and the Rook's Rest battle sequence, the latter of which was considered the episode's highlight. Acting performances of Eve Best, Matt Smith, and Tom Glyn Carney were a subject of praise. Tom Glyn Carney is your Aegon, and Eve Best is Rhaenys. So we'll get into everything. We'll break it all down, finishing up with everything that happens at Rook's Rest. But we will start at Harrenhal. This is not the start of the episode. This is just how I'm breaking it down step by step. Daemon dreams of being in the Red Keep's throne room, where he decapitates a young Queen Rhaenyra for berating him. We get Millie Alcock returning for a second straight episode cameo, and though her severed head continues accusing him of treason. Later, he follows a figure who looks like himself, but dressed as Aemond. And awake, Daemon meets Alice Rivers, a mysterious woman at a Riverlands, and a Riverlands bastard of House Strong. She claims Harrenhal is haunted because weirwood trees were cut to build it. After drinking her sleep potion, Daemon experiences missing time and hallucinates seeing his late wife, Laena Velaryon, during a council meeting. Here's my thing with this whole sequence, which was so well done. Absolutely loving what they're doing at Harrenhal with Daemon's character and all of the hallucination acting. It is so brilliant. I just love it. If I'm Daemon, you're having all these hallucinations, brother. Why are you going to take a sleep potion from somebody who told you in the previous episode that you were going to die there? What are you doing, my guy? What are you doing? I was just like, brother, you don't take that. You don't take that whatsoever. But I was very impressed with this entire run through of sequencing in this scene at Harrenhal. Also, when Daemon wakes up and his hand's bloody, flips it and it's suddenly gone, was just a brilliant touch of just like, I'm waking up from this nightmare. Boom. Now I'm back to reality. Oscar Tully, the adolescent grandson and heir of the aged, incapacitated Lord Grover Tully of the Riverlands, arrives at Harrenhal to meet with Daemon in his grandfather's place. He hesitates making any decisions for the Riverlands while Grover still lives. Daemon, irritated, suggests hastening his death, troubling Oscar. Sir Willem Blackwood, one of Rhaenyra's former suitors and a vassal of House Tully, also meets with Daemon and pledges an army in exchange for subjugating House Bracken. The funny part about Oscar Tully, Grover Tully, there's also an Elmo and a Kermit, and it is widely speculated and discussed that George R.R. Martin named all of those 4 characters in the Tully lineage after the actual Muppets: Oscar, Elmo, Grover, and Kermit, which I think is just hilarious and a tip of the cap. As a Muppets stan, I love that there's Muppets crossover into the Game of Thrones universe. It is hilarious to me. And I love that that is like a true accurate thing, that they are named after the Muppets. And it's almost like they were placeholder names and just never replaced because George R.R. Martin is a Muppets fan. I just love it. It's so funny and quirky. So then we go to Driftmark, where Rhaenys meets Alan, thanking him for rescuing Corlys. Corlys arrives, and Rhaenys implies that she knows Alan is his illegitimate son. She tells Corlys he should be raising Alan up instead of hiding him beneath the tides. But Corlys dismisses her inquiries. They travel to Dragonstone after Baela encounters difficulty veering the Black Council in Rhaenyra's absence. Then on Duskendale, Sir Criston Cole captures Duskendale and beheads its master, Lord Darkland, who refuses to renounce his loyalty to Rhaenyra and scorns him as a kingmaker. Absolute pissant slap in the face to Sir Criston Cole's bitch ass. Shout out to Lord Darkland. What a king. And he spits on that thing, too. Hawk 2 at him. Criston orders his troops to ride to Rook's Rest, the last of House Black's stronghold on Blackwater Bay, during the day as a surprise maneuver. Sir Gawain Hightower believes a night attack is safer and cautions a daytime assault will attract Rhaenyra's dragons from nearby Dragonstone. Then on King's Landing, Archmaester Orwyle prepares an aber-efficient tea for Alicent, who claims it is for someone else. Homegirl got pregnant with Sir Criston Cole's baby. Ain't nobody want that dude's kids. Ain't nobody want Sir Criston Cole to be reproducing. That's how you know he's a scumbag of a character. Not the actor, the character. That's how you know he's a scumbag. Nobody wants to have him reproduce and have more of him running around. He's a piece of shit, and it's proven time and time again now that not even Rhaenyra wanted his kids. Alicent don't want his kids. Ain't nobody want his kids. He's a bum. He's trash. And that's proof that nobody wants to reproduce with you. Fuck around, find out. So she asks Orwyle if Viserys truly wished Aegon to be his heir, while Orwyle denies any knowledge of the matter. Larys arrives and notices the empty tea bottle, which Alicent says was for indigestion after feasting overmuch on lamprey pie. Larys slyly remarks that she should be allowed some indulgences. While meeting with his council regarding Criston's military advances, Aegon is irked that Daemon seized Harrenhal and scolds Larys, the castle's lord, for allowing it. Larys remarks that the castle itself is useless, but he still controls its gold. Aemond asserts capturing Rook's Rest will geographically isolate the Blacks from the Seven Kingdoms, but Aegon remains steadfast on reclaiming Harrenhal. He is angered upon learning that Aemond and Criston plan the campaigns without his knowledge or authority, including pursuing Duskendale and Rook's Rest, rather than Harrenhal. Aemond berates Aegon in High Valyrian, further humiliating him as Aegon can barely speak it. Alicent discovers that Aegon has had Viserys' history books removed. Aegon vents his anger to Alicent over the council, excluding him from important matters. She dismisses this, saying lacking wisdom and knowledge is inferior to Viserys as a king. She advises him that he can best serve the realm by doing nothing. Stood on business with that. You're better off doing nothing, young boy. That's what she told him. She said she stood on business, put him in his place, and it pissed him off that much more. But I said, okay, Alicent, I see you. I see you. Clap back at his little ass boy over here. Put him in his place. That was one of the best things Alicent's done in a long time in this show. I was like, there you go, girl. But by doing nothing and letting the experienced council wage the war, frustrated and drunk, Aegon flies to Rook's Rest on Sunfire. And here we go. At Dragonstone, during Rhaenyra's absence, the council concurs that a dragon should be sent to defend Rook's Rest, which is council member Lord Staunton's castle. Rhaenyra returns and reports on her meeting with Alicent. She now agrees that war with the Greens is inevitable. Jacaerys wants to go to Rook's Rest, but Rhaenyra forbids it, insisting on flying herself. Rhaenys persuades Rhaenyra to let her go instead, arguing that her dragon Meleys is the Blacks' most capable. As Rhaenys prepares to depart, Rhaenyra passes on the prophecy of Aegon the Conqueror, the Song of Ice and Fire, to Jacaerys. And this was the moment that it was like, oh shit, something bad is going to happen here. And it didn't feel good from that moment that Rhaenys offers to go herself. And it's like, this could be bad. This could be real bad. So then we go to Rook's Rest, where Sir Criston Cole's troops advance on the castle. Amidst volleys from the castle's archers, Rhaenys arrives on Meleys and begins burning the Green's troops and siege equipment with dragonfire. Criston, having laid a trap, it's a trap, signals Aemond, who is hidden nearby with Vhagar, to attack. How the fuck this boy was hiding around with Miss Old Raggedy Vhagar just chilling? Like that dragon is big as hell. How did you hide Vhagar from all these people? I truly don't understand. Hit him with Vhagar to attack. When Aemon sees Aegon approaching on Sunfire, he delays acting. As Rhaenys and Meleys maul Sunfire, Aemon flies in on Vhagar, who burns both dragons, harming mainly Aegon and Sunfire, sending them plummeting to the ground. And the hissing from Aemon yelling Dracarys was just so villainous and venomous, and you could hear it. And he was out to kill his brother. He knew that the last time we saw those two together, he embarrassed the ever-living hell out of him at that brothel with his little Miss Thang, and said, I'm gonna get my lick back. And he was ready to kill his brother, which we'll get to in just a moment. Rhaenys then attacks Aemon and Vhagar, sending them crashing to the ground. And as Rhaenys circles the battlefield, Vhagar, having risen, attacks Meleys from below, fatally crushing her neck. Rhaenys plummets to her death, still strapped to Meleys. Oh, it was heartbreaking. It was heartbreaking, and I know everybody, when they were watching Game of Thrones, says you can never get too attached to people, and I don't think I was like fully attached to Rhaenys per se, but I loved her character. The actor, Eve Best, portrayed Rhaenys so well. Like, perfect casting. She was just so easy to root for and so easy to get behind. She had a badass dragon. She was like the level-headed member of House Black and was just such a great interpretation of a character in television. And I'm sad she's gone. Rest in peace to the queen that never was. You're a real one. Sir Criston Cole, knocked out during the battle, regains consciousness. Of course that motherfucker lives. Of course that motherfucker lives all of this. He's walking around. There's dudes that are skeleton fried. But he's the one that lives because we have to build this hatred for him even more because he's such a piece of shit. Surveying the battlefield, he finds Aemon with his sword drawn near Aegon, who lies prone and unmoving next to the scorched, heavily unwounded Sunfire. Aemon was ready to put that sword in his brother and call it a life. But as soon as he saw Sir Criston Cole and heard him yell out, he was like, oh, he's right there. We don't see Aegon. But allegedly, according to people who have read the books, he lives. He's got a ton of like burn scars and burn injuries from this. Kind of wild that like dragons' insides are just like acid. This episode was brilliant. It was I was trying to live tweet it and live thread it, which follow us over there at StreamerSZN on both Twitter and Threads. And I was like, oh my God, there's no way that just happened. And then like 2 minutes later, something else that like superseded that happens. And I'm like, oh my God, I got to get this out. Like, it was an insane flow of television. They packed so much into this episode. It was only like an hour and 10 minutes, really, I think, was the total runtime, if I'm not mistaken. 55 minutes is what it says on the official runtime. So it was one of those things that like it felt longer than it was because they told so much of the story and got so much in this that it was just so brilliantly done. And I mean, if there was ever a perfect just duo episode, it was last week's and this week's together formed two of the best like partnered episodes of TV I've watched in such a long time. And it has been and that is like the perfect mid-season episode is what we just got with this one. And I can't wait for what episode 5 brings us because it's going to be all of the aftermath of everything that happens here. All the death, such a big member of this chessboard in Rhaenys and Meleys gone. A dragon is gone. Sunfire, who's this little baby dragon, is gone. Allegedly, we don't know if it's fully healed, like is able to be, and that dragon's never going to battle again. Aegon is burnt to a crisp, and now Aemon is fighting for power alongside his mother, alongside so many other people. Like, this is going to be like a 3-part saga almost that builds into what the final 3 chapters of this season are going to be, and it's insane that we've gotten this much in just 4 episodes, and it's an 8-episode season, and it's going to drive me crazy when this season ends, because then we have to wait another 2 years. Like, I'm 90% sure season 3 of this show when is it targeted to be released? Oh. Well, according to this is June 16th from Cosmopolitan. Allegedly, season 3 is planning to come out in 2025. Oh, they're saying I'm not hopeful, but fingers crossed that season 3 will come out in 2025. Yeah, I don't know. It would be nice if it comes out in 2025. I doubt it though, but this episode was just so it's one of the best episodes of TV that we have watched in a long time. You know, it is up there with episode 3 of The Last of Us. It's up there with some of the stuff from Stranger Things that we have watched that have been like peak Stranger Things. It's up there with some of the episodes of Loki, some of the episodes of like just like big time TV that we've watched on this show, and just that I've watched in general. It has been such an enjoyable experience, and it's tough for a season 2 to elevate the standard of a season 1, and I think especially of a show like this where so many people were disappointed with the ending of Game of Thrones, that your expectations are almost tempered if you watch Game of Thrones for a lot of people coming into this show. But I think this show has done such a great job of stepping its game up and just truly like a level up of epic proportions from season 1. And not saying season 1 was bad. We gave it a 9-1, but I think at the end of the day, I'm going to try to get some people on towards the end of the season, see how they're feeling. I think season 2 is going to supersede season 1 for me. And that's crazy to think about, but like that's a good thing, and that's a good thing for the writers, the directors, the producers. They're really building this show to be something awesome. Rotten Tomatoes, it has a 100% based on 17 ratings with an average review rating of 9.1 out of 10. Den of Geek gave it a 5 out of 5. Let's see. James Hunt from Screen Rant rated a 4.5 out of 5. Ready Steady Cut gave it a 4.5 out of 5. Telegraph gave it a 4 out of 5. Vulture gave it a 4 out of 5. IGN gave it a perfect 10 out of 10 score. CBR and Collider both scored it a 9 out of 10. AV Club gave it an A. Esquire viewed it as a return to the franchise's glory days. And that's where I'm at. Like I was blown away by how awesome last week was, and a lot of people shit on last week's episode, and I was not one of those people. But like this episode blew me away in so many different facets, and I feel like it gave me a taste of what a lot of you guys listening and watching at home got during Game of Thrones when it was on. When it was on live to watch and not just like watching it back and everything, like the glory days, as they said in Esquire, of this show. And it was just truly epic. And I'm so excited for what's to come on the next episode 5. I can't wait to break it down. It's going to be unreal to just see the characters unpack everything that just happened. And I can't wait to see it all go down. But our first massive deaths of the show, Rhaenys, Meleys, true legends, rest in peace. You're icons, and the show will miss you for sure. That brings me to my rating. I'm going to charge it up. My rating brought to you by Duracell Portable Power Stations. That's right, guys. This episode is brought to you by our new partners here at Underground Sports Philadelphia, and that is Duracell Portable Power Stations. Everyone needs to untether their charging from the wall as often as you can. We're always on the go. And from the number one trusted battery brand, Duracell Portable Power Stations and charging hubs allow you to power your laptops, mobile devices, lights, speakers, and any small electronics that may make your life easier during a power outage or while away from a wall outlet. I can't wait to get our mini generator of our portable power stations. I can't wait to get the desktop version. It's going to make things so much easier to keep charged here in the studio when we're doing live shows. They're going to be powered by Duracell, which is crazy to think about that. Like Duracell is one of our partners now. So check out everything they've got. Click the link in the description and check out the Duracell Portable Power Stations, including their 2024 Red Dot Award-winning M150 and M250 models, and untether your device charging from the wall and power the possibilities with Duracell Portable Power Stations. My rating for this episode, just to recap for everybody, I've given episode 1 a 9.2, episode 2 a 9.4. Last week I gave it a 9.7. Guys, it's a 10 out of 10 episode. There's no other way to cut it. There's no other way to dice this up. This is a fully charged 10 out of 10 episode of TV from House of the Dragon season 2. Just an impeccable. It was flawless, and people I've talked to have said it's flawless. It's a wonderful episode. It was spectacular. Kudos to everybody involved. I can't wait for episode 5. But there it is, episode 4. The Red Dragon and the Gold of House of the Dragon season 2 gets a certified StreamerSZN 10 out of 10, powered by Duracell. So yeah, Ryan Condal, Alan Taylor. You guys are the best. Ryan Condal, I should have known that it was going to be spectacular since you wrote it. He's the showrunner. Man, what an episode. Bravo to everybody involved. We will be back to recap episode 5 next week, but without any further ado, let's cut it back to myself and Christian as we break down Hard Knocks off-season with the New York Giants. All right, Christian, it is Hard Knocks New York Giants off-season episode 2. God damn. I love that I'm not a Giants fan, simply based off of this just is a cherry on top of me not being a Giants fan, but my God, is their organization so fucking stupid.
I'm sure WFAN is loving this right now.
Mike Francesa is just like, back after this. I also love, because I have friends that are Giants fans that cover the Giants. Shout out to Danny King, Bobby Skinner.
And we also have people who hate the Giants, like Patrick Pitts.
That too. We also have Stephen McAvoy, who works for this company, is a diehard Giants fan, which is great. I love checking in with Bobby Skinner. He co-hosts Talking Giants at John Boy. I love seeing his post-episode tweets about each one from a Giants fan perspective. But man, my biggest takeaways, number one, the Giants so desperately wanted Drake May. So desperately.
So thirsty. So thirsty.
Saquon Barkley fucking hates the Giants front office. More specifically, Joe Shane. That phone call, he could not have been more disinterested in that phone call.
And add on top of that, in the stinger for next week, we hear that the Giants offered him 3 years, 12.8 per, which basically sounds like the Eagles contract with one less year.
He said, "All right, I'm out." It was also just hysterical that Brian Dable thinks he could run fast. Because
as as soon as they started focusing on Xavier, I'm like, oh, some stupid shit's about to come out of some people's mouths,
and of course
and
it was Brian Dable.
and it's like, do you think I can outrun him if I started here and he started there? It's like, no.
No. I also love how he said, if you put a big plate of chicken wings at the end, I'll be there. It's like, yeah, you bloated tick. Also, hilarious that when he was talking to, was it Jane Daniels or Caleb Williams, when he was saying, yeah, when I had Favre, and then it pulls up New York Jets Brett Favre, arguably worst version of Brett Favre, and that did not even look like Brian Dable when he was with the Jets.
Now here's the real question: which is the worst Favre, Jets Favre or Vikings Favre?
At least Vikings Favre made the playoffs and they went to an NFC Championship game.
They went to an NFC Championship game and got bounty gated.
Yeah. And then Favre did Favre things and threw a costly interception right in the middle of the field.
Brian Dawkins.
The thirstiness, though, and it's so, like, I tweeted this too. And we said it last week. It's hilarious that the Giants organization would allow themselves to display their organizational incompetence to the world like this. Because, number one, watching this episode, if I'm Daniel Jones, I'm pissed. Like, you gave me all this money to be your guy. Sure, I had an ACL injury, but now you're displaying to the world that, like, my replacement was the Patriots being dumb and giving away pick number 3 and costing their chances at their next quarterback, token to see if Drake May becomes their next guy. If I'm Daniel Jones, I'm disgusted and pissed with the organization. I'm so happy Saquon left and came to the Eagles. And it was very funny how they were like, all right, so Xavier Worthy at 6? Anybody? That just showcased how stupid the Giants are. They are the kid walking by the toy store glass window and seeing the brand new shiny toy, and it's like, oh, I want that, and not willing to be like, oh, I can get something of way better value for the same thing that's in my pocket right now, which they ended up doing, obviously, as we all know. But just to put that on display, if I'm an opposing GM, I'm taking advantage of the Giants at any opportunity I get because they've showcased how stupid they are.
Yeah, it's truly kind of hilarious how what's the right way to put this that doesn't feel so brutal. How they're so simple-minded,
Yes.
where even I feel like we get more depth and character out of the, like, 15-minute draft video thing we got from the Eagles than we have from this entire Giants front office.
Mm-hmm.
And they both Hard Knocks and that Eagles video literally had scouts like pitching players.
Yeah. And like the beginning of the episode too, when they like reveal what the salary cap is going to be, I forget who Joe Shane was on the phone with, but like
whoever the director
their
of pro
pro
scouting
scout.
is.
Yeah. Like he's like taking a jab at Saquon right off the rip. And he's like, oh, 2-6 probably thinks he's getting his Jonathan Taylor day. And it's like, bro, this is a guy that you're like actively trying to potentially re-sign. And your owner wants you to re-sign, as we saw last week. And you're putting that on display that like you're just taking subtle jabs at the dude. No wonder he fucking hates you.
It's a marvel. Like, first of all, Joe Shane's like zero charisma.
None. No
He
Riz.
he is the worst GM for this. Because he's trying too hard for the TV product, and he also just doesn't seem that funny in general.
No.
And nothing that he's doing seems funny. Where like, it's just the only reason this is good TV is to watch them bumbling.
Yeah. And it's great as Eagles fans to just watch a division rival look like absolute buffoons to the world. And it's just a great thing to witness. The other thing that I took away from like the teaser for next week's episode is cool to hear Anish Shroff, who does PLL and college lacrosse play-by-play, but he's also the voice of the Panthers. Hearing his voice, I was like, I Leo memed. I was like, I know that voice. Feels like we're gonna get the whole Brian Burns breakdown next week, which will be interesting to kind of watch that play out. It's also wild to me that the Giants let is it Xavier McKinney, the corner, just let him
Safety.
leave. Yeah, just let him leave, and it's just like
it is, and I'm gonna pull up the Giants depth chart right now, because I do think this is objectively hilarious. Like, if you pull up the Giants pass rush, like Thibodeau, Burns, Dexter Lawrence, and all that, I'm like, that's not fun. And then you just look at everything else on that defense, and like, no disrespect to Tyler Newman and Deontay Banks and Bobby Okereke and Isaiah Simmons, but I'm like,
that's fun for opponents.
And listen, God bless his dad, but John Runyon Jr. at right guard, Evan Neal, who hasn't done great at has not great at the NFL level at right tackle, with former NFL draft combine hype train draft Twitter god Yondi Kajust being his backup. And you just look at this team, and I'm sorry, but I don't see how they're not picking in the top 5, especially with this division. And like, Eagles and Cowboys are going to be in their eternal fight for the division crown, because that's just what this division is now.
Mm-hmm.
And I refuse to believe that the Commanders do not do better than these Giants. Even with Cliff Kingsbury, Mr. Thailand, as the offensive coordinator, like, I refuse to believe it.
Mm-hmm. It's hilarious, and I just love watching their downfall every single week, and the fact that they're running it back with Daniel Jones again, and they're going to need a quarterback, and they failed to get one of these quarterbacks, and who knows if they're going to be in a position again to be in the mix like they were this year at 6 and have the ability to potentially move up. But man,
here's the issue though. Everyone is going to this draft, and it's not like there's a QB1 god. It's you're staring at Carson Beck, Shitter Sanders, Quinn Ewers. It's maybe Jalen Milroe, who I'm not convinced is actually good. Like, it's not a good QB draft. So it's a horrible time to be like, yes, I'm looking to draft a QB. It's like, no, can can you punt that to 2026?
Right. I love it. I love the downfall of the Giants, and any opportunity I get to laugh at them is great. Looking forward to more laughs on next week's episode, because there are going to be plenty of laughs abound. But Christian, what do you say we head on over to everybody's favorite segment and break down the latest news and notes?
Sure.
It is the Streaming Platform Multiverse News and Notes, brought to you by our friends over at Kenwood Beer, the official beer partner of Underground Sports Philadelphia. It's a refreshing light beer, just 4.1% ABV, only 120 calories, just 8 grams of carbs. Go to kenwoodbeer.com. See who's got Kenny's on tap in the Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Delaware, and Maryland areas. You can also get it at your local liquor stores in those markets. And if you're going to the Man Center this season, you can get Tallboy Kenny's at the Man all season long. Must be 21 or older to do so. And of course, please drink responsibly. First things first, in news and notes, happy birthday, buddy.
Thanks. We're recording this 3 days after the fact, but yes.
How was the What's Funnier Than 24, 25 birthday?
Chill.
We'd love to see it. We love to see it. Since we last recorded, we
so
have
many
learned
trailers.
so many trailers, so many newses, so many noteses. Stranger Things final season is now halfway through filming.
In other news, we've gotten blitzed by trailers, and so tomorrow we get the trailer for We Live in Time, which is a Andrew Garfield Florence Pugh rom-com. But more importantly, Kyle, how big of a fan are you of Roman history?
I wouldn't say fan, but
Are you knowledgeable?
a decent amount.
Did you know that they filmed that they filled the Colosseum with water?
I did not until I saw that was historically accurate.
In the Gladiator 2 trailer. The movie, which a year ago I was like, I do not care about this, and then they cast Paul Mescal, Pedro Pascal, and Denzel Washington. I would go, son of a bitch, I'm in.
And then they filled the Coliseum with water, and you're like, God damn it, I'm in.
No, and then they had Denzel basically be Denzel. I'm like, okay, sure, yeah, fuck it, let's go. But I bring this up right after Stranger Things because is Joseph Quinn the only functional actor to come out of that core cast? Outside of Maya Hawke, but Maya Hawke has the whole parents thing, but she's also just a good actor. Because I'm gonna pull up a list of the kids here, because I had this discussion with a friend. Because if you look at the group of the kids, like Finn Wolfhard,
He's gone more of like the behind the camera route more than
Millie
anything.
Millie Bobby Brown just makes a bunch of bad Netflix movies and is just in my opinion a stale personality. Gaten Matazzaro,
He's more Broadway acting, in my opinion.
sure. Caleb McLaughlin,
He's probably the only one besides Joseph Quinn that's done anything like close to relevant.
I mean, excluding Maya
Besides
Hawke,
Maya.
Natalia Dyer,
I can't tell you another thing that she's done.
Charlie Heaton, Noah Schnapp. Like I I think we literally had this discussion last week, but like Joe Carey.
I think he has potential to do more things. Like he's not boxed in like some of the other people.
Yeah, but at the same time, like if we look at what
I also
Joseph
assume in
Quinn
this
has
whole
done,
thing you're not including Winona Ryder or David Harbour.
I'm I'm only talking about the kids
Oh, okay.
because, like, I mean, Winona Ryder made her career with Beetlejuice, and now David Ryder, Dave, David Ryder, David Harbour went from being a that guy to being David Harbour because of this show,
Yeah.
but he was also already a established that guy, so I'm not counting that. But like Joseph Quinn's 30 in just this year alone. He's done Quiet Place Day 1, and he has Gladiator 2 coming out. In 2020, he ended up he ended up appearing in one of Steve McQueen's short films, and now in 2024, he's currently filming a Alex Garland film. And now, sure, he was only in Stranger Things for season 4, but it's I think it says something that none of these child actors are really converting into anything.
Yeah, I mean Joseph Quinn also had some big projects before this, not like well known for it being him, but he does have like the Game of Thrones credit. He has 3 episodes of the Les Mis miniseries that happened in 2019. Um, and then obviously he's going to be in the Fantastic Four.
I'm not sure if I brought this up to you, but Stranger Things feels like the sorry to put this. Stranger Things feels like the 2010s equivalent of John Hughes's Brat Pack, where it's like you have all these youngish stars who make their bones in one specific thing, and like two of them stick, and the rest kind of just flame out.
I'm also kind of surprised Dacre Montgomery hasn't done more. And that may be by choice. Obviously he was in Power Rangers, but before Stranger Things, but
I mean, Dacre Montgomery's 29. Um,
which makes me feel like shit because he looks so much older and so much more esteemed, but it's
so
also he's Australian.
so he was in Elvis,
Yeah.
and now he's working on a horror movie that's a remake of a goofy Italian thing called Faces of Death with what's this cast? Barbie Ferreira, him, Josie Tota, who was on Jesse, Charlie XCX, and Jermaine Fowler.
What a cast.
What the fuck?
He's also playing Jack in something called Went Up the Hill.
Well, hold on. There is a little bit of reason to have hope about to have a little bit of hope surrounding Faces of Death. Is that it's being written and directed by Daniel Goldhaber, who for us cinephiles, we know him as the guy who made one of the underrated films of 2022, How to Blow Up a Pipeline. So it's interesting, but yeah, it's this the Stranger Things cast is kind of a mess. I don't love it, but yeah.
But I feel like you'll love this. Please tell me you saw the photo of Deadpool taking a selfie with the TVA agent.
I don't think I did, but it's fine.
It's great. And he also kisses him on the head.
Do we want to talk about the other big trailer in Agatha All Along?
Let's do it.
Kyle, pull up the text I sent you during the show. I had
Yeah.
a tweet.
Yeah.
This is once again in the category of can we talk about Disney filmmaking and how they just frame everything in the center of the screen, and how there's now the prevailing theory that they just do it to make it easy to post on social media.
Yeah.
Like is MCU filmmaking just dead? Because you called this crazy, which like sure looks crazy, but like it doesn't look good. It just looks like a mess.
Well, when I said it looks good, I meant from a just visual like optic standpoint.
And I disagree, and even on that too.
Like it didn't look like the campy Marvel stuff on the first watch, at least. I don't know. I saw our good pal Seamus Clancy tweet that Marvel's trying to live off of a meme from 4 years ago with this show. But he said he'll be seated no matter what, and he hates that he is.
Well, maybe you can talk to Seamus about that show, because I think I'm tapping out for that one.
Yeah, I don't know. Apparently, I don't know if you saw this. Marvel has like an official podcast now that like Kevin Feige's appearing on, and like one of their, I don't even know what her title is, so I apologize. But they're like talking about it, and they had somebody on who is like in charge of What If, and the way that he was like talking about some of the projects was just like, dude, you're doing a terrible job of promoting stuff that's coming out of your studio. He basically said Agatha All Along, it's scary. That was like his pitch.
It's not as bad as Apple TV, who does literally zero promotion. Like I went to introduce my sister to Slow Horses, and that's how I learned that one of my favorite shows on TV has its new season coming out in August. I'm like, ads, trailers, hello, anyone? Speaking of another trailer, we got a trailer for F1, which I'm going to ignore the horrific naming of it.
Well, did you see the beautiful composer for it?
My beloved Dune boy.
Yeah, I have trailer thoughts from our good pal Owen Libertor on this that he posted over on the old Threads machine.
All right, drop Owen's thoughts and I'll drop mine.
So Owen's thoughts. He's got 3 bullet points. Number 1, the car in the shot looks insane, but we knew we were going to get that with Joseph Kosinski directing. Number 2, I do like the idea of having real teams and drivers in this movie. It does feel a little odd with the fictional team against real ones, but hey, more eyes on real teams is great. Number 3, finally, I wish they took the damn music out. That last shot of Pitt driving would be beautiful if it was silent and all you heard was the car.
Yes. My concern lies in 2 things. A, while they use the same technology that he used in Top Gun Maverick to film this stuff practically, there's weird angles that look so video gamey that I don't like it.
I saw your tweet about that.
It looks so weird. And 2, this I have a sneaking suspicion that this is gonna be this is gonna try and be too like serious, and it's gonna just seem like it's taking itself way too seriously, and it's just not gonna fully work. And I'm scared because this technologically seems to had the best chance to be a great, like, practically filmed for almost everything racing film since 1966's Grand Prix. If not, I would allow you to throw in 2019's Ford versus Ferrari, though they did use a good bit of CGI for that. So it's just like I want this to be good. After that teaser, I'm more skeptical about it actually being good, which is not a good thing.
Netflix's live-action Horizon Zero Dawn series is, quote, dead, according to Cheyenne Round. Fallout from Umbrella Academy showrunner Steve Blackman being accused of, quote, toxic, bullying, manipulative, and retaliatory behavior by 12 employees.
Well, we got the trailer for the final season, and I honestly am surprised that I'm not sure if I care.
I know you're a big Umbrella Academy fan.
I really enjoyed that show, and I'm just kind of bored at this point.
Did you see they recreated Jaws in Lego?
Yes, I did, and it's overpriced. Like all Lego.
Your thoughts on the Anthony Starr Homelander Ronaldo memes?
A+ shit posting.
We got Anthony Mackie in a new behind the scenes photo from Captain America Brave New World in the suit. Suit looks good.
Suit looks I mean, I don't care how good the suit looks. That movie seems to be in a tailspin along with Blade.
We got the new international posters for Deadpool and Wolverine look better.
There's like 16 different Deadpool posters, and I need them to settle on like 2.
Moving right along here, we had the Avengers cast have all reunited to dub the film in the Lakota language. The process took over 15 months, includes 62 Lakota Dakota language speakers. Elders were the highest paid on the project. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
The Arkham Asylum series is no longer moving forward. It was going to be set in the same universe as Matt Reeves' The Batman. That's a bummer.
That's a bummer, but not totally surprising. So I'm just like, it is what it is.
They said that it's reportedly possible a new series set within Arkham Asylum could be developed in the future.
Yeah.
John Landau, unfortunately, has passed away at the age of 63. He produced Titanic and the Avatar films.
Yes, not to be confused with Jon Favreau.
Correct. Looking here, did you see that Tenacious D gave out the Tenacious D MVP award to Drew Holiday? That video was incredible. Spider-Man Homecoming released 7 years ago this week.
God bless Michael Keaton.
Let's see here. This was very funny to me because I can kind of hear him saying it. Tamir Morrison wants to lead an episode of The Mandalorian after Pedro Pascal, quote, stole an episode of the Book of Boba Fett.
Did he steal it, or was it realistically always a Mandalorian show? Let's be honest, everybody.
And let's be honest, there was 2 episodes of The Mandalorian in that show. Happy 31st birthday to Philadelphia's Superman, David Corenswet. I'll have already talked about this in our House of the Dragon breakdown, but House of the Dragon Season 2, Episode 4 is now the highest rated episode of the series on IMDb with a 9.7 out of 10 rating. And I think it's only behind 4 episodes of the original Game of Thrones series, which is pretty impressive. I feel like we talked about this last week. I have a clip ready to post about it. Doug Lehman said Tom Cruise still wants to make Edge of Tomorrow too.
Yeah, I mean,
quote, we keep talking about it. I keep talking about how I want millions and millions of dollars, but it's still not happening.
I mean, those two are also supposedly working together on shooting a movie in space. So easy, easy there, you two, easy there.
Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman are on their Deadpool and Wolverine press tour, and Ryan Reynolds said there's only been one Wolverine. The reason is no one can do it except for him.
Sure.
Looking right here. The original Tron was released 42 years ago this week.
That's a hefty one.
This one was pretty hefty. Now legally able to drink lots of rum with all the pirates. Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl was released 21 years ago this week.
Keira Knightley can now drink.
Those movies, like the original run, like probably the first three,
two were, first three
are. I mean, it's one of the more underrated trilogies to ever come out of Disney.
Yeah, it's fair.
Like, there's especially Curse of the Black Pearl was just so fucking good. Severance season 2 news reportedly drops by the time you guys are listening to this.
Watch Severance, Kyle. Watch Severance.
Inside Out 2 will pass Incredibles 2 at the box office by the time you guys are listening to this to become Pixar's highest grossing film ever.
I don't like that news, but congrats.
That is pretty wild. Christian, are you ready for summer of 2026? The Olympics, the Home Run Derby, and the MLB All-Star Game in Philadelphia. I mean the World Cup, not the Olympics. The MLB All-Star Game in Philadelphia, and the Battle of the Fifthquels. Toy Story 5 and Shrek 5.
Burn it to the ground.
Walt Dorn was a writer on previous Shrek films, and Brad Abelson co-directed Minions 2. They will be co-directing Shrek 5.
Congrats to them.
I feel like this news was out there before, but Kevin Feige had one condition for Hugh Jackman to return as Wolverine. Quote, he wears the yellow.
And I wear the red, white, and blue.
As the days go more and more, the more and more I can't wait for this Spider-Man Noir series.
Sure.
So the cast so far, obviously, Nicolas Cage is playing Spider-Man Noir. Lamorne Morris is playing Robbie Robertson, and Brendan Gleeson is going to be the villain.
Congrats to Brendan.
X-Men 97 Season 3 is now in development. What If writer Matthew Chauncey is taking over for Season 3. Bo DeMayo's scripts for Season 2 have been revised.
And now we're in trouble.
It's still fucking wild that we have no idea why he was fired.
Just Marvel things.
I think I have one more thing that I retweeted earlier today because I was like, oh, I want to bring that up. The Twitter machine. Here we go. Oh no, I already brought it. It was the X-Men 97 thing. Anything else, Christian, before we get up on out of here?
I think I've run out of things.
So make sure you guys are following us on the socials at StreamerSZN on Twitter, Instagram, Threads, and on TikTok at StreamerSZN Pod. Be sure to follow Christian on Twitter at @thewiz_PHI. Follow me at KBIZZL311. Subscribe to the podcast feed on Apple and Spotify. Leave those 5-star ratings and reviews. helps us hit new milestones, really goes a long way for helping us continue to grow. And of course, subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, youtube.com/@Underground Sports Philadelphia. Smash the like button, ring the bell icon, leave a comment down below your thoughts on the Acolyte, House of the Dragon, Hard Knocks, or whatever shows and movies you're watching currently. Let us know in the comment section. Let's get to 900 subscribers before the end of the month. And be sure to get your merch at phiapparel.co, code underground, 10% off your order. And this has been another edition of StreamerSZN, the exclusive streaming platform, TV and movie podcast on the Underground Sports Philadelphia Podcast Network. For Christian, I'm KB. We're going to hopefully not rewatch another episode in a different point of view while flying to Westeros and laughing at the Giants. But until next time, we'll see you next time.